In light of my recent depression focused around the Premier League, let's just not talk about that. I decided, why not talk about Serie A? Because Serie A, I don't watch it as much as I do Premier League and La Liga. But what is going on with the title race right now? So let me just show you my screen here. For anyone who doesn't know what the Serie A table looks like, you can look at it yourself, right? But so far, what we've basically seen is Conte coming into a Napoli team that finished 10th, I believe, last season, 9th, 10th something. Mid-table, basically. And, well, suddenly they're first in the league. I don't know if they'll be able to sustain that type of play. Conte tends to have good starts to a season and then go down a bit throughout the second half of it, but regardless, it is a good start for Conte. Atalanta. Now, the Ketelaar is a player I've followed his entire career because he played for Club Brugge, which is the team I root for. And then he went to AC Milan. I watched a bit of AC Milan. He was terrible, let's be honest, but at Atalanta, his career has been a bit mixed. He hasn't been great, he's not been terrible, I think. But so far, recently, he has been doing well. I would say don't get too hyped. I have joked about taking him at Man City, but don't get too excited about him. Let him actually complete this season. Look at how he did for the whole season, and then you can say your opinions on him, I think, because as someone who has watched him his entire career, he is like a player who lacks the motivation to play sometimes. So sometimes I think the Ketelaar will just put in terrible performances because he doesn't care. So really don't judge the Ketelaar at Atalanta until you've seen the entire season, until you can look at the entire season and see, okay, has he been consistently good or has he not been consistently good? Internazionale, who I think will win the league, it's only 1 point behind Napoli. Of course, they have dropped points in more games, but they've only lost one game. I think they're gonna win the league, and my reason is very simple. I think they're better. I think when it's time for the clutch moments in May, March, April, May, that period, right? Who is gonna step up? Romelu Lukaku or Lautaro Martinez? I think it's gonna be Lautaro Martinez who is gonna step up for Internazionale in that period, and that's why I think Internazionale is gonna win the league title. I don't think Atalanta is gonna win it. Atalanta, Fiorentina, Lazio, like those three teams, sure, they're playing really well right now, they have some good players, but come January, first of all, big teams like Real Madrid, Manchester City, PSG, Arsenal even, there's a few big teams out there who currently are lacking somewhere in their squad. In January, they might go shopping. So I think that some of these teams in Serie A that are currently very high up, like Fiorentina, Lazio, Atalanta, are a bit more easy to bully into selling a player, rather than, example, Napoli, Internazionale. So even if they don't drop down the table naturally, they will probably lose a player there in January, which will cause them to drop down the table again. As for Juventus, I mean, Juventus has gotten their new manager. I haven't watched Juventus once this season, so I can't really tell you what I think about them. But they haven't been beaten yet this season. Now, they've gotten 7 draws, I know. What does it matter if you're invincible if you get up a bunch of draws? But it does show that they're able to get out in a tough situation. When they're back to the wall, they can get a draw. They can stink their way to a draw. If Juventus can just get a few more wins, then maybe they're potentially gonna win the title as well. But my honest opinion is Internazionale, they look best. Their defense in the Champions League is ridiculous. They concede a bit more in the Serie A. They've got 14 goals conceded, as you can see on the screen. But in general, they look good, don't they? Just defensively. I think a title race is a marathon. There are no title races, there's a title marathon. And then there's the final sprint, right? I think Napoli, the way they have played so far this season, from the few games that I have watched, they're just constantly going at it. They're constantly going at it. They're 100 miles an hour every game. Kind of like Barcelona. Can you survive that for a full season? No, you can't. Especially with modern fixture lists. These players are gonna be dead by the time the season is in like March, April. Napoli, I think, will drop down a bit. Internazionale, that March, April, May period is when they will be at their best, they'll kick on, and they'll win the title. Now, I don't want to draw too many parallels to the Premier League, because there's nothing to compare really, but I do just want to say, people talking about the Premier League being the best. When is the last time that all the way into December, because there's no more games in November, I believe. Well, Saturday. Saturday is the 30th, so there's still a few games in November, but basically, going into December in the Premier League, when is the last time you have seen Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea separated from each other by 1 point? You don't remember ever seeing that, do you? Because it doesn't happen. So, Serie A, by the way, they're doing good in Europe as well. So don't tell me, oh, it's a farmers league. They're doing well in Europe as well. So these teams, they just have way more teams that are ready to go knock out other teams. Now, I think if Napoli plays against Liverpool, I think Liverpool wins. But Atalanta against Man City, I think Atalanta wins. Internazionale against, who is third right now? Is it Arsenal or Chelsea? Doesn't matter. Internazionale against either one of those, and Fiorentina against either one of those, they win. Literally, the Italian teams from 1st to 6th against the Premier League teams from 1st to 6th, they win probably all but one game. And that game that they don't win is, I believe, Napoli against Liverpool. And even that, I think Napoli might be able to stink out or win in that game. What I'm trying to get at here is, the Premier League ain't all that, is it? Now, will this last until the end of the year? No, it won't. As I said earlier, Atalanta, Fiorentina, Lazio, they're going to drop down the table. I'm not sure what to expect from Juventus. I think Napoli, they just don't have the correct striker for that title running. I may be proven wrong. Maybe Lukaku had something to prove to us. By the way, y'all realize how ridiculous Lukaku's career has been? Like, bro, he's not had a bad career, isn't it? Let me show you guys. Transfer market Lukaku. This guy ain't had a bad career, bro. People talk about him like he's some rubbish footballer, isn't it? But he's not had a bad career. He's won 2 league titles. And he's won 2 cups. A Super Cup and a Club World Cup. Like, bro, for a guy who is clowned upon as much as he is, he's had a way better career than Saka so far, than, what is his name, Kane. He's had a better career. If he wins another league title, by the way, at Napoli, I think he's top scorer right now as well in Serie A. Let me check that. Serie A. Who has top scorer? Sorry, no, it's not Lukaku. How many goals does Lukaku have? Lukaku stats. Not Roma. Stats Napoli. 5 goals, 4 assists in 11 games. That's not bad, is it? Now, football ain't all stats, I know, but Lukaku is so clowned upon, rightfully so in my opinion. But he's had a way better career than some of the other players that are praised. Like, compare him to Shearer, right? Alan Shearer. Lukaku is clear. Like, let's be honest, he's clear. Well, what has Shearer won? 1 league title. Lukaku has won double the league titles. Could win a 3rd. He's won 2 cups. Like, bro, he's clear, isn't it? But people want to clown on him and not on people like Kane, Shearer. I wonder why. Maybe it has something to do with the passport. Oh, right. English passport, you don't get criticism. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot. I forgot. English passport means no criticism. Sorry, guys. I forgot. But yeah. Serie A title race do be a bit wild right now. I don't think it will stay that way. Tell me down below who you think will win it, but is it gonna be anyone else than Internazionale? Because, let's be honest, Internazionale is just playing a reserved, calm football, and they're still up there. They're only 1 point off top. If they can keep that up, until, let's say, March. Let's say begin of March. Let's say they're within 4 points. They will not be tired, because they'll have played calm. They have a better bench than Napoli, in my opinion. They kick off from there, 100 miles an hour, from March to the end of the year. They will win every league game, maybe a few draws in between, but they will not lose a single game from March to the end of the season, and they'll win the title. And I believe, let me check by the way, when do Internazionale and Napoli play each other? Internazionale plays against Napoli, so obviously already played against each other on the 10th of November, but I mean the return fixture is the 2nd of March. So if Internazionale turns up the gas, start of March, begins with a win against Napoli, I'm just saying in it. But let's assume a draw. I still think they win it. I still think they win it. We'll see when we get there in it. I think it's a lot less easy to predict that than Premier League right now. That seems a bit obvious. Bundesliga, big up to Da Silva. Big up to Da Silva. His team is winning another Bundesliga title. What is that now? 12? 12 in 13 years? Something like that? But the Prem is boring because Man City won it 4 times in a row. I mean, to be fair, if you keep winning them, it can get boring, but don't blame the team that wins. Blame the teams that fail to compete in it. Just saying. That's all for me. A bit different from my usual stuff. I don't talk about Serie A that much. Not really into Serie A that much anymore. I used to really love it, but kind of fell off. Maybe I should start watching Serie A again. At least until this title race, this insane 6-horse race, comes to an end, and then it's just Napoli against Internazionale. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Tell me down below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.